A Cinemagraph is a really fun way to add motion to otherwise static images and allow your posts to really stand out on social media. They're literally a combination of cinema, which is the moving picture, and a photograph, which of course is a still image. The idea behind all of these apps is to grab a short burst of video and then grab a still image from it and paint a little window out through which you can see the motion behind it. There's a variety of different subjects that they work really well for, but I'm going to try a selfie cinemagraph today where I'm going to be completely static on the frame, as is the beach around me, but I'm going to draw a little window through which you'll be able to see the sea and the waves crashing in motion behind me. Now, however you're going to capture your cinemagraph and whatever subject you're going to be pointing it at, these work best of all when your camera is on a tripod. So I've got a very simple clamp to hold the phone on my tripod here. And most of the apps work in a very similar way. There's a bunch of them available. I'm going to be using a free one, but your phone may come with one already installed. So the first step is to just grab that short burst of video. And I'm going to position myself on the frame so that there's the minimum of motion around the edge, because remember, I am going to have to effectively cut myself out of the picture. Now, you have to be very careful not to wobble the camera too much while you do this, but you will be able to grab a single frame from it later on. So I'm going to hold it both hands here, line myself up, and then press the button. Now, depending on the app that you're using, you will be presented with a single frame grab from that video sequence, and you should be able to scroll through them. For example, if I was blinking, I might want to choose a different picture, but I'm quite pleased with the way that that looks. So I'm going to make the video strip disappear, and now it's a case of painting out a window through which I can see the motion. And I'm just going to paint around this area here to see the sea and become a lot more careful as I get towards the edge of my coat. And most Cinemagraph apps allow you to vary the actual size of the brush and the hardness of the edge of the brush, but I'm just going to be quite free here with some motion, and you can see that already I've got a bit of the sea showing through here, and I've chosen to bounce the video back and forth. Of course, it doesn't look realistic, but it is quite eye-catching. Then I'm going to paint a little bit closer and closer towards the edge here. Now, I found with a view like this that it's best to not go over the horizon, because if the phone was wobbling, then the horizon will wobble as well. If I just keep the painted out area to within the sea here, it can look quite convincing. And I'm just going to add a little bit here on my other side to give a little bit more motion on both sides of my face. And I'm quite pleased with the way that this looks. And then at this point, you can choose whether to loop that video either in a bounce manner, in which case it will play forwards, then bounce and play backwards, and then forwards again, or whether you want it to loop in a different way, playing forwards and then going back to the start, playing forwards again. Some apps allow you to reverse that process. And it's a case of experimenting. What you think may have looked good when you started out creating the Cinemagraph may end up looking better a slightly different way. And of course, don't be afraid to repeat the process if you've ended up getting some unwanted motion somewhere else. Then when you're happy with the results, simply export it directly to your preferred social app or save it onto your phone for sharing later. What I like about this particular Cinemagraph is that you've got that static portion, the self-portrait, but with the sea moving behind it, and it's turned what could otherwise just be a normal picture of somebody into something that is kind of eye-catching in a slightly eerie way. Sometimes cinemagraphs can look quite creepy, sometimes quite exciting, but there's always this element of motion that gives them an unexpected look, again, really attracting people's attention when they're otherwise just scrolling through their social feeds.